Have you ever had a cup of coffee, enjoying the flavor and the satisfaction it brings to you? Coffee is one of the most popular drinks worldwide, but not everybody knows what goes into that amazing cup of coffee everybody is enjoying. Do you know where it comes from or the process it takes for it? Coffee is one of the most popular beverages to be consumed worldwide besides tea, but in reality, not everybody knows what coffee is or its production. I had my first cup of coffee when I was in elementary school, but I did not start to drink it daily until I was in middle school. And since then, it has become one of my favorite drinks to consume daily, and I cannot go without it before I head out to work. So today I would like to break down to you the coffee's origin, the process of making it, and the different types of coffees you can get. So, coffee is a really popular drink among everyone and is daily consumed because of its factors. As Boss Frey and Jane Hitchum quoted, coffee is among the most widely consumed beverages worldwide. Coffee is a daily drink that is added in everybody's routine because of its pleasant smell and taste. A coffee bean actually comes from a seed. It is known as a pitoffic green berry seed, which looks like this. It is actually not brown, which is then brewed into a roasted seed, which goes into the hot process of making coffee. So, how did coffee become a popular drink? It all goes back to the Ethiopian plateau. It all started because of a goat header named Kaldi. He actually had a group of goats and he let some out, which he saw that they were eating from a berry tree. And he saw that whenever they ate the berries, that they had a lot of energy, that they were not able to sleep at all. So that's whenever he started to prepare that beverage and he consumed it. He saw that he had the same energy, that he was so energized playing with his goats. So then Caldi started to tell everybody about the drink and the effects of it. And that's whenever the word arrived to the Arabian Peninsula. And that is when the beverage started to become so popular. And during the 17th century, coffee actually made its way to Europe. And during the mid 1600s, that's whenever the British people took coffee to New York, which was before known as New Amsterdam, I believe. And that is whenever you started to see more coffee shops go worldwide when it hit New York. And now that we know about how coffee became so popular, has became a drink, let's go over what makes coffee and its whole process. So, while enjoying your cup of coffee, do you ever ask how coffee is being processed for you to be able to drink it? So before a coffee can be enjoyed, it has to be planted and harvested. A coffee bean is actually a seed which needs to be planted for it to be harvested and the whole process to start. So after the seed has been planted, the seed actually needs to look like this, like a red color. And whenever it's red, that means that it's ready to be harvested. So once they have been picked, there's two methods that you can either do, the dry method or the wet method. The dry method is whenever the coffee beans are let to dry on a huge surface by the sun, and the wet method is when they have to be depulped, which means that they're taking the outer layer of each coffee bean, and then they are placed in tanks from 12 to 48 hours for them to be fermented, and then after that they're washed and left to dry for 60 to 90 days. And before being exported, they actually need to be milled and huling. And huling is the machinery that removes the parchment layer, which is only for the wet method. For the dry method, the coffee, they need to remove the entire dry husk, which is the outer layer of the coffee. And after all of this has been done, the coffee beans are ready to be exported to its destination location. So after it has been shipped, how do you know? How does it end up with coffee in your drink? Well, the coffee beans need to be roasted, which makes them brown, and the duration of the roasting is actually what makes the flavor of each coffee to be unique, and it adds its own characteristics. And the last step is they need to be grinded, the beans, and then they are being brewed for it to be enjoyed by everyone. So now that you know about the whole process of coffee and how it's all processed, let's go about the different types of coffee drinks that you can get from coffee beans. There are so many different drinks such as cappuccinos, lattes, americanos, and so on in the menu that you ask what are the differences. So there is black coffee, which is just that. It's just ground coffee with either hot water, warm water, or cold water. And you can either add sugar or cream, which is my favorite drink. And then secondly, you have a latte, which consists of an espresso shot, steamed milk, and foam milk. And a cappuccino is the same thing as a latte, but it has more foam milk than steamed milk, and it also consists of an espresso shot. Those are the three different coffees that you can get from coffee beans. And in conclusion, there's more behind into what makes a great cup of coffee. It all goes into the things, the process of making it for it to be consumed. It takes a lot of effort for it and the flavor to be enjoyed. Hopefully now you'll have more understanding and know more about coffee and how one single bean creates that wonderful cup of coffee that everybody enjoys.